Okay. Okay, we will take a look at the custom function now. Okay, the custom function is like our user defined function. You take any programming language, everywhere it is there, right? Function, right? The objective of creating function is reusability, and we can keep the common business logic. We can create a common business logic in a function, so that we can, once you create a function, we can apply this business logic as many times as possible, or we can, wherever it is required, the commonly used, the common business logic, wherever it is required across the model. If you want to use it, you can use it. And the classic example is the net salary. We don't have to calculate, we don't have to use the formula for computing the net salary for each and every employee, especially if you have 500K employees or then in our office. Don't have to have the same formula to be used for each and every employee. So what we are doing is we are creating a function. In that function, we will put the formula or the business logic. Okay, and when you invoke the function, it'll automatically return the net salary in this case. Okay, the function will return a value. The function has to return a value. Okay, the whole objective of this one is the reusability and eliminating the redundancy in your code, and also for modularity, to make sure that you have modularity in your code, right? You are going to use this one. If you have different business logic, each logic you want to each logic you want to use it across various modules. In that case, you create the functions. You can call the functions whichever models that are required, or applying this similar business logic, right? They can simply call this function, they can use it. So, and also it will have some kind of modularity. If you want to compute the return on investment, create a separate function. Okay, and return on assets, something like that, right? So the common for functionality or common business logic, you put it in a function, so that it will have modularity, right? So you will make sure that you have some kind of modularity, and you will not have redundancy of code. Okay, now we will take a look at how we can create custom function. We'll start with a simple example. I have a lot of rookies are in this call. And hence I'll start with very basic thing. I just go to the Power Query editor. You need to click on the transform data. The first one is the transform data. When you click on this, it'll take you to your Power Query editor. This is where we do all kind of data cleaning, everything. In the Power BI desktop, what are the files that we have loaded here? Right. So the type, irrespective of the type of the file, as I mentioned earlier, it will consider everything as a table. Okay, so whatever the tables, right? So we can see it here. It's all these tables are considered as query when it comes to Power Query editor, because it's a Power Query, right? Power Query editor. Here, all the tables are considered as a query. Okay, now what I do is I just go here and somewhere, if I will just collapse this one. 1 second, query is here, and sorry, I just collapsed all the thing here. These two folders are related to our folder connector. Okay, these two here also we can see the custom function. That one was created automatically during the time of combining the files as part of folder connector topic. Okay, that we explored that one. Okay, this one got created automatically. We don't have to worry about this. And these are the queries. Other queries, you can see all the tables that you have loaded in this one, right? You can see it here. And just beneath this, you have blank space here. Right click on it, and then you will find something called new query. Okay, and you click on blank query. To create a custom function, you can do it this way. And we have another option also. We'll explain you a little later. So what I do is I'll start with a very simple one. The equal sign, and then open parenthesis and closed parenthesis. Inside of this, I'm going to specify the parameter. A as number. The first one is your parameter. A is a parameter, followed by this is your reserved word as, and then this is your data type. Okay, and then followed by this, you need to use the rocket arrow. Okay, and here what I do is I just say simply, let me, A into A. I just press enter. Sorry. So what is this? You need to start with equal sign if you want to define a function as part of blank query. Okay. And followed by that, you need to use the open and closed parentheses. Inside the closed parentheses, you can specify as many parameters as possible. Okay. In this case, for the sake of simplicity, I've just used only one parameter. Followed by the parameter, you need to specify the keyword and then the data type. Okay. And followed by this, you need to use the rocket arrow. This is called rocket arrow. Followed by the rocket, this is your function body. The A star A is your function body. And if there are no syntax error, when you press enter, right, if there are no syntax errors, it will take you directly here. It will ask you the value for this parameter. If I say, for example, 6, and okay, I created a function. This is my function, and I need to use the function, isn't it? So here it is prompting me to enter the value for this parameter. Here I just type x6 here. And when I click on invoke, what will happen is this function will be called, and at the same time, this value will get copied to this parameter. And then this value, right, once it gets copied here, and this one will be passed to the function body. So 6 into 6, 36. I'm going to hit this invoke button here. 36. Like 6, if you want to find out the power of any value, right? You can type whatever the value that you wanted. I just select this one, query 3. And here, if you want to specify, let's say 256 into 256. You want to square the value, you can use this function. Now what I do is, so the invoked function is there here. I don't need this, right click on it. I'm going to delete it. My function is ready. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply double click on this here, and I'm going to give some meaningful name here. Square me something like that, and give some function. Okay, and the other way of creating the function is you just go to the view ribbon, and here you'll find advanced editor. Look here, if I click on this, you'll find the same function here also. This is where you can write your YAML script or the mashup language. But most of the cases, whatever the transformation so far we have done, right? So if you want to see the YAML script generated behind the scene by Power Query Editor, you can click on the advanced editor, you can see that. Okay. In this case, I just created the blank query. In that blank query, I have created the function. But if you are if you want to create a complex function which requires multiple lines of code, then better you can go with the advanced editor. Here you can write it. But if you open this one, you will find something called let block. This is let block. This is your in block. Let block, in block. And in the let block, we specify all the functions. On the right side expressions, we specify the variables, all the variables. On the right side of the variable, you will be using built-in functions or expressions. You'll be using it here. Okay. In this case, this is the one, right, expression. The output of this one will get stored in this variable. And then in the in block, this is the one returns the value. Okay, this is the in block returns the value. In the case of let, we specify all the variables that are required. And the right side of the variable, if anything required, you can use any built-in functions, or you can specify the expressions like this. You do some kind of calculation. The output of this calculation or the expression will get stored in the variable. You need to, in the case of function, you need to return the value, right? So in the in block, you need to specify which variable you want to return it. Okay. So this is how, so now you understand what is let block, what is in block. Okay. This is another way of creating the function. You can go to the advanced editor, you can create a function here itself. Okay, and what I will do is I will just show you another example. Next, what I do is I just go and click on the advanced editor. Here, you will create another function. Sorry, even for that, you need to click on the blank here. Okay, you need to right click on it, new query, and a blank query. And then you need to click on the advanced code editor. You will see just let and in block here in the let block, and you don't see anything here initially. Okay, let it be there. What I do is just above this, we are going to create a custom function. Okay, in that case, we need to pass the parameter. Here I use the closed parenthesis and the parenthesis here, closed and open parenthesis. Inside of this, I need to specify the parameter. For example, here I'm going to say GSAL, gross salary, as the number. Okay, what data type for whatever the parameter that you use it here. Followed by that, you need to specify the data type. And then the next one is, for example, you have LOP. Followed by this, you need to specify the rocket arrow. If you don't specify, it will not work. And to start with, I'm going to use the equal sign here. And then in the let block, what I do is, this is my function body. I need to return net salary. Here what I'm going to do is GSAL minus LOP. In the in block, I'm going to say net salary. Okay. Here in this case, I'm using two parameters here. Okay, and followed by this, you have let and in block. In the let block, I just specified the expression. Simple example. Okay. In this case, it is kind of for earnings and deduction. This is my earnings and this is my deduction. If you subtract the deduction from earnings, you'll get the net salary. That is the one we are going to return it. If I click on done, let's see what happens. I'm getting error. Why am I getting error? Here, ideally I shouldn't have used the equal sign. Okay, once you hit that OK button there, it automatically put the equal sign there. Okay, only one equal sign is enough, and I'm going to press enter. Two equal sign was there. That is the reason why it was throwing an error. I just removed one equal sign or two equal sign and typed it only one. Okay, and here you can see that for these two parameters, it's asking for the value. What value needs to be passed? And let's say the gross salary is something like 100K. And then LOP is, let's say, 20,000, something like, okay, for example, say, okay. So this one will get copied to this one, and this one will get copied here. Supposing you want to make it a little bit complex, I will show you in another example. If I invoke, what will happen? What is the logic that I used? So if you want to see the body here, because we have more than one line, you need to click on the drop down here. Okay, drop down list. Here you can see the entire thing. Okay, the script here. The other way of looking at is advanced editor. You can also go and check it out here. This is where we started, right? Okay, and you can here also you can see that in the formula bar you can see it here. Okay, fine. So now this value will get copied here, and this value will get copied here, and it will subtract this LOP from your G cell, and then it will return the net cell. I'm going to hit the invoke button now. Look at 80,000. 100,000 minus 20,000. Here 80,000. It is doing. It is performing the calculation correctly. And what I do is I just go here, and I just say calc net cell. I give some meaningful name to this function so that I can reuse it later. Now what I do is I'm going to import another file. I'll tell you why I need another file new and Excel workbook. Inside the, currently I'm in Power Query Editor. Even as part of Power Query Editor, you can load the file. Okay. So I'm going to put this one, and here I just check the D drive. Sorry, not this one. I think the file is comma separated value file. Emp.csv. Okay, I just selected the CSV file. I'm going to hit open now. You can see the data. This is what your comma separated value file m.csv. I just go and hit OK here. One second. Okay, not this one. Now we need to reuse this file. Sorry, the function. In this file, you can see all the columns, including the salary in LOP. And if you see our function, it takes the two arguments, right? Parameters, GSAL. What I am going to do is, instead of typing the value here, if you have 500K employees are there in your org, you cannot type each and every employee's gross salary in LOP, right? Instead, what we do is, if the data are available in Excel file, we just pass this column itself as an argument to this function. Similarly, this one, I'm going to pass this as an argument to this one, okay? Pass this column itself as an argument to this parameter, okay? So in this case, when I apply the function, it automatically picks up these two columns for each and every row. It will compute the net salary and then it will return the net salary for each and every employee. Are you able to understand? I'll just show you now so that you'll be able to understand. So now I create a function called calc net cell. I need to use this function. Okay, instead of using it. See, so far we just did the testing here. Here we just tested whether it's kind of a black box testing, right? The functionality is working correctly. Everything is working fine, but we cannot type the values manually for each and every employees. Rather, what we are doing is, I have imported the emp1.csv here. Yeah, it is there here at the bottom. I was searching here. Now the emp1 CSV file is there here, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to call this function. Which function? The calc net cell function. Okay, I'm going to apply this function on this data set. And how do I do that? So for that, if you click on the add column here, and you have invoke custom function. You have an option called invoke custom function. When I click on this, it prompts me to specify the column name, net cell. We wanted to create a new column called net salary. In that net salary column, each and every employee, I want the net salary to be computed with the help of this function. Okay, I need to apply this function. Here comes function query. It is asking for the function query. Already we have some custom functions, but I want to use calculate net cell because this is the one I'm going to applying it on this data set. Okay, the function name, and then it is asking in this function, I have used the two parameters. One is the GSAL and other one is LOP. For the G cell, I can select any column. What I do is I just select here. If I select the decimal number, I can type the value here manually. But we don't want to type it. Instead, I am going to click on the drop down here. I'm going to select the column name. Here, I just specify. You just assume that the SAL column is nothing but your earnings, and LOP deductions. Okay, I'm going to hit OK now. So what is happening is this function will get applied on these two columns. Okay, this function, we pass these two columns as an argument. It goes and picks up each and every record, the earnings and deduction, and then it returns the net sal. That returned value net sal, we need to put it in a column. Okay, we need to store it in a column. So the column name is net salary. I'm going to hit OK now. Look here, you can see the net salary. And here SCAL, this is my earnings and deductions. Since the deductions are 0, it displays the value as it is. Here, if you see here, 120K, if you subtract 25,000 from this, you will get this one, right? It is correct only, all the values. So now you understood the advantage of creating the custom function. With the help of custom function, we can reuse it, or you can invoke it as many times as you want it. Okay. And then next, I just go and see we have any customer dimension table is there. It is there, but it is not much helpful. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the error by okay, I just remove the error. Okay, we wanted to test it something. Okay, here I'm going to exclude, or I'm going to say the null. So what we can do is, if you keep the cursor over here, you will find, you will get something like this. See, if you, for this, you need to go to the view, and here I enable column quality, column distribution, column profile. I discussed about data profiling in the past session, right? So when you enable this, the profiling, you can see it here. But when you keep the cursor over, you will find something like this. It will get displayed automatically. And the 3 dots, this is called ellipses. When you click on the ellipses, you will find the keep duplicates and remove errors, remove duplicates. In our case, we have removed the errors. This is another way of removing the error, okay? And replace the errors, okay? Instead of removing the error, we could have replaced the errors with some other value. Since it's a date column, we know we don't want to do anything here. We don't want to replace the error with some value, okay? It is not good. So what we do is, now this is in the date format, data type, okay? But we have some null values there, let it be there. What I do is I just select here, click on the drop down, and I'm going to exclude this one, null. So in our data set, we don't have any blank value, especially in this column. What you do is you find out the age of each customer. How can we find out the age of each customer? Because you should be knowing certain functions in Power Query editor, right? So the M language, you should be knowing it. So what I will do is I will just help you out computing the age of each customer. Okay, here what I do is I just create, go to the add column. I'm going to create a custom column here. Instead of that, see here, we want to compute the age for each and every customer. Okay. And what I can do is I can take the, how do you compute the age? How do you compute the age? You will subtract your date of birth from your from current date. Right? Subtract the date of birth from your current date. That one will give you the age. So I can get a custom column. What I do is I can use this is date. There is something called date time zone dot local now. That one will give you the system date, and you can subtract this directly. Okay, but here it is not like Excel. In the case of Excel, right, the cell wise you can specify the thing here. Okay, the formula here. Okay, but here we cannot specify it like how we specify the formula for each and every cell in the formula bar, right? That is not possible here. And what we do is we'll create another function, a custom function. I just minimize this, right click on it and new query, and I'll just click on blank query. Here I better go to, sorry, the advanced editor. If you pass any date of birth, it should get subtracted from your current date. That is what is going to be your age. Here, what I do is I just use the open and closed parenthesis. What I should get here, date of birth. As we have something called date data type, and followed by this rocket arrow. You need to use the rocket arrow, and then here, what I want to return age. The right side, what I am going to do is I'm going to use something called date dot. When you type date, you will find a lot of options here. Days in mind, a lot of things are there, right? So here date dot, all I need is the year. I wanted to return the year, age in terms of years. Okay, or 26 years or 35 years or 32 years. Date dot year. What I do is inside the parenthesis. This is a built-in function. Okay, date dot year. Date dot year, date dot month, date dot quarter. Likewise, a lot of built-in functions are available as part of your Yum script. Here, what I do is the date dot year. Inside this, I just say date time zone dot local now. I'm going to. This is another built-in function. Okay, and here what I do is, I close the parenthesis here. So I just pass this as an argument to this one. See here, what I am doing is this function, what it does is it gives you the current date, but in the current date, extract only the year. Okay, the outside function, right? This function itself wrapped by another function, date dot year, and this one will give me the year. And next one is I'm going to subtract it, date dot year from your DOB. This is the one we pass it. For this function, if you give a date of birth, it picks up and then it will subtract your date of birth from your current current date, and then it returns the year. So you need to specify the return value, because in the age variable only, the year, right? Age in year will get stored here. This is the one you want to return it. I just click on OK. Let's see if we get any error. Is working fine. I just use something like 0 to 05. I just say 1990 or something like that. I just hit the OK invoke here. 33. Good. So it's doing good job, right? The function is working fine. Here I just this is my query. Okay, this is what the function. I just right click on it and rename it. Here, what I'm going to do is calculate age. Calculate age. So the next thing is I'm going to use this in my table. Now I created the function, I tested it, everything is working fine, but I need to use it. What I do is I just go to the sales by customer table. In this table, I wanted to include a new column. In that column, I want to compute the age. Okay, hence I'm going to specify the column means age. So what I do is I just go to the add column, invoke custom function. here I just say age. Age in years, okay, something like that. Okay, in the function query, you need to say calculate age. Okay, and here what you do is you can type any age, but here I just pass the column itself as an argument. Here in this case, date of birth. We already have a column here. I just hit OK now. Now it gives me the age in years. This guy is 31 and 43, 28, right? So it's good. It's doing good. These are the examples for creating custom function. And what I would suggest is, right? So the assignment is something like you have a folder. Take the folder connector. Okay. The folder connector. So we know very well when you look at the data, the sales column is your number data type. It's a decimal value, and quantity is a whole number, and discount is a decimal value. Okay. In that case, what you need to do is Ramya. Yes, we can find out. We can. Yes, Ramya. Ramya's question was, can I achieve the same using DAX? It is possible. Then the next question is, if I can achieve DAX, then why should I use this one, right? And why in this case, there are two things here. One is I have to learn the M script. Okay, instead I learn DAX script itself. There itself I can do it. But here, if you make the age as part of the table itself, right? So you can reuse this column. For example, you wanted to use a slicer in your report. In that case, you wanted to select the range of ages between, let's say, 20 to 25 years. You want to see the sales performance, or if you want to see the behavior of the customers based on their age group, if you create a column here as part of the data set itself, it will be good. You can do it here also. There is another thing, like, you might ask me this, okay, there is something called calculated column. Can I do it? Yes, you can do it there also. Okay. But if you create it as a function here, so you can, reuse it. Okay. Not only in this report, and if you have any other report wherein you need to compute the age for any other data set, you can reuse it. Okay. If you once you create it as a function. Okay. Right. All right, Ramya. There are certain things you can do it at the source system itself. Okay, the data cleaning, data pre-processing. This is your derived column. We have derived this column based on the existing column, but we have used some logic here to compute the age. Okay, yeah, the assignment for you is, for example, in the case of folder connector, every month the new month data file will get pushed there. Maybe it's an Excel file or it is a CSV file. In that file, mistakenly, if any text data comes in, okay. So in this case, we already seen the values, right? We have seen some values in the sales column was prefixed with dollar. What I did, I just right clicked on it, and then I have replaced that value with empty string. And then explicitly, I just went here and then I selected the decimal number. So let's say, in the case of discount, if that comes with any, or you have something price, right? Price column. In the price column, the prices are prefixed with dollar. Okay. So in that case, but in the first time when you created the, when you combine the data files, right? So the price was in decimal number only, but later point in time, in the case of price, if that prefixed with dollar or so, right? So what will happen is the job will fail, because number data type, if you try to load the text data, it will fail. In that case, why don't you write a custom function, and proactively we can preempt, even in future any data comes with this kind of text data or any a special character comes with this data, right? You can preempt these kind of issues, so that you can make sure that there are no error. So otherwise, what will happen is if 10 million data comes every month, the 10 million data, right? It takes a lot of time to load it. After 1 hour, it breaks. Okay, so instead of getting to the wait and watch mode, why don't we write some custom function wherein we can predict what are the issues that can come up, and then we will try to capture, right? I will come up with some kind of mitigation plan in terms of coming up with some kind of logic which can handle, even in case of any text data comes in for a number column, right? How do we prevent this one? You can try, give it a try and see, how you can handle that one, because in the real time scenario is very, very crucial. If the job fails, it's a major issue, okay, any job, because the volume is very, very huge. Okay, this wraps up the custom function. What you do is, right, you give it a try. This is from the support point of view, right? In case or maintenance support point, in case any job, any new in future, any file which comes with text data, if that gets into any number data type column, it will fail. So how do we preempt that? Preempt, okay. Come up with a function, and then we'll see, right, how you can implement that. Let me see, how you can, what logic can come up. Another thing is like, you have something like in the fact table, sales fact table, you have order date and ship date. And if you want to compute the duration, how long we took to ship each order, that kind of situation also, you can go for the custom function. That's a simple thing. You can directly deduct it. Okay, you don't have to create a function for everything. But there are some cases, net sales. You want to compute the net sales. So what is the formula for the net sales? You have the gross sales minus the gross sales into discount. You would have given a discount. You need to subtract the discount, and you need to subtract the total cost from your gross sale so that you will get the net sales. Even this one, you can create a function. Even for this, you can create a function. There are two assignments. One is from the data loading point of view, how you can prevent the future errors. I explain the scenario. For that, you can write a function. And the second function is, how do you find out the net sales? You just consider the sales W04 data set, whatever you see it here. 1 second, I just here you have the sales column. You just consider the sales column as a gross sales. I'll share this data file, okay, this report file today to you. This is your gross sales. And what you need to subtract the discounted value, okay? You need to multiply the sales by discount. That is the one is your discounted value. Subtract the discounted value from this one, sales minus sales into discount, minus total cost. Total cost is, I will include one column here, the cost price column. In that case, what you do is, you multiply the quantity by cost price. That one will give you the total cost of goods sold. And then if you subtract the cost of goods sold, I just, simply I repeat this equation. Sales minus sales into discount minus your cost of goods sold. That is the one is going to give your net sales. Okay, and I need these two functions to be created, and give it a try and see. And later point in time, we'll see how we can create the complex functions. Later point in time, okay. So I'm done with this one, the custom function.